Good Game. I'm Hex.
And I'm Bajo. Coming up on the show, we hack the planet, swim with the sharks, and slip into some tight black rubber pants. If only it was all in the same game, Hex.
Well, we'll have to settle for them being separate experiences for now, Bajo. First, the abstract cyber espionage of Quadrilateral Cowboy. We'll also dive into the sublime seascapes of ABZU.
Plus, I'll find out what it's really like to be the Batman.
And people will keep you in the crosshairs until you're shot out of the sky.
On top of that, NichBoy is going to take us behind closed doors at Double Fine Studios in San Francisco.
Can I open it? What's in here? It's mainly salads.
Right? Okay.
It's mainly just salads.
And some fun.
That's good. I feel like if I was a game developer, I would want to eat healthy, because apparently you keep them all here overnight.
I love seeing developers in their natural habitat, Hex. But first, can you name the game for this week?
Okay, I don't know nothing about that. You understand? And I know it couldn't have been one of our maids, because I gotta tell them when they can come in here, you know what I'm saying? So that's gotta be, you know, the bad guy doing that.
Quadrilateral Cowboy is an indie puzzler that's filled with new and interesting ideas. Developer Blendo Games' last release was 30 Flights of Loving, an excellent narrative-driven compact experience. 30 Flights pushed you through a heist-style adventure at such a pace that you never even had a chance to stop playing.
Oh, I just loved that little game, Hex. It was refreshing how it kept the plot moving with all those jump cuts.
Yeah, it was crazy. This new game is quite different though, and much meatier experience.
Quadrilateral Cowboy doesn't have the same narrative focus as 30 Flights, but you can see slivers of that design within what is quite a unique puzzle game. You're part of an underground hacking team. Set in a bleak world, we get the impression the Earth has been ruined. People live in tiny homes, and the air is sometimes unbreathable, which plays into some of the puzzles.
You begin with a very simple train robbery, which then leads you to your hideout. After building a computer resembling the days of old, you then begin a series of heists. That's another theme this developer is fond of, but these heists are much more puzzle-focused and it doesn't hold your hand too much.
Yeah, but at the same time, I think these puzzles are really achievable. Solving them is a delightfully fiddly, tactile experience based around typing lines of code and combining various gadgets. You're always carrying around a terminal, which lets you type in proper pseudo-Unix hacking commands. Within a few minutes of this, Hex, I was totally on board.
Yeah, at first I was like, whoa, I actually have to type out command lines, but the game increases the difficulty at the perfect pace so you never feel overwhelmed. Initially, it's just opening doors or hatches. Then it's getting through alarmed doors, which can only be opened for 3 seconds. After that, you'll be disabling cameras, lasers, adding delays to your commands. So it gets nice and complex without being painful or tedious.
Yeah, and what I liked so much about all the typing, hacking, terminal stuff is that you can see there's added complexity there for people who want to speedrun this or try and beat your friends' times. And the game encourages this by integrating leaderboards into your hideout terminals and also letting you leave notes, Dark Souls style, for other players in your friends list. What a great idea.
Yeah, I loved that. But the game isn't all typing commands to open doors. You also type commands to move an adorable little robot-like dog called a Weevil. It's essentially a remote hacking tool, but most of those puzzles are pretty simple and enjoyable.
Yeah, there's also jump pads and a deployable suitcase gun, which you use to open doors mostly. A lot of the puzzles are just about opening doors, but it's fine. Although those physics-based controls are a bit cumbersome. It's not that it's complicated or really awkward, but I just found whenever I was trying to pick up something, I'd rotate it by accident or put it down, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah, objects tend to fall over a bit when you put them down. At least in the story sections, which have a few little puzzles of their own, that fiddliness is taken care of for you. But the game also lets you no-clip.
Yeah, that really threw me at first. If you don't know what no-clipping is, it basically means that you can pass through the walls and see an entire level from any different angle. You can't actually teleport your character to that area, but it's just another way of looking at a puzzle. But it kind of works for a puzzle game like this.
Yeah, it just allows you to get a different perspective on the puzzle. And it becomes really important later on because you're controlling 2 team members at once. First, you have to scope out points of interest, then switch between 2 team members to gradually make your way through the levels.
It reminded me a bit of those shadow rewind puzzles from Braid that still haunt me to this day, but it's nowhere near as hard as that. Your movements are recorded, and when you switch teammates, the other members' movements begin to play out, and then you switch around again. It took me longer than I'd like to admit to work all that out.
Yeah, me too. The game does have a help manual with some heist notes, but, you know, part of the fun is just working things out on your own. So I don't think we should say anything more about the puzzles, Bajo.
Yeah, I agree. One thing we should point out is that this game is completely open. You can do the puzzles in any order you like, which is awesome.
Yeah, I mean, normally when you get to a puzzle and you can't find the solution, you get really frustrated and you just rage quit.
Yeah.
But here you can move on.
Yeah, that's great. I even got ideas from like later puzzles to go back and do earlier puzzles and solve them based on what I played later on. I wish more puzzle games did this. I also love that they included a developer commentary, and they're pretty rare in games, but I find them so fascinating. There was one early example where they talked about the use of color and how they reserved green and orange for interactive items, and that meant that they couldn't use those colors really in anything else. But also that constraint was actually really good from a designer's point of view because they had less choices to make when building a room.
Yeah, dev commentaries offer such an interesting perspective, and some of that stuff may seem obvious when it's said out loud, but I think we as gamers don't often think about how much goes into making a room work for the player.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's especially important in puzzle games. Overall, I think if you like the tone and ideas of this game, then it's definitely worth your time. Even gave me a few pangs of emotion towards the end, Hex. I'm giving it 4.5 stars.
Yeah, I enjoyed this a lot. It reminded me a little bit of Pony Island at the start, but I think it's a lot more accessible than that. Quadrilateral Cowboy will tax your brain in all the right ways. I'm giving it 4.
Objective complete.
Coming up next, hang on a sec, Hex. I have to go. Justice calls.
What?
Justice. We've soared through Gotham many times as the Batman, but now we get to choose just what kind of man we want Bruce Wayne to be. What the hell is this? Batman the Telltale Series is a big deal for developer Telltale Games. They've done so much with the point-and-click adventure genre over the years, but Batman is different. He's revered and well understood. They have to get this right. I promise, as a Batman fan, I will not reveal any major spoilers.
Don't you dare talk about my father.
However, this first episode, Realm of Shadows, is only a couple of hours long, so watching this review might impact your experience a little. The game begins by throwing you into Batman action. Baction. Bat sorts out a robbery in progress, deals out some hurt, and generally looks a bit cool. This setup works so well because it instantly gives you an idea of where you are in the Batman timeline. The cops don't trust him yet, and Cat's and Bat's long relationship is only beginning. The way you interact with the non-dialogue sequences has evolved over the years with Telltale Games, and I think this might be the best yet. The animations are smooth, the QuickTime events are varied and dynamic, and there's a real sense of urgency to the combat. The only thing that shows how creaky this engine is in 2016 now is when they're just walking about normally. There's a slight awkwardness to it, almost like they've got batarangs stuck up their butts. Maybe they do. I would also suggest playing this with a controller, as some of the QuickTime keyboard combinations didn't feel very intuitive. Shift Q? Really? That's right next to Shift Tab. But the cinematography! My little bat heart was exploding with joy. All of the scenes and framing in this game are deliberate and crafted with real care. There's so many emotive moments and hero shots. You can tell they've had a blast putting this together, and they have paid due respect to the comics, movies, and cartoons. But at the same time, they've also got their own take on things. Visually, Gotham looks great, Batman's suit looks awesome, and Bruce is broodingly handsome.
You going to play nice this time?
Well, that depends on you.
And the car! I love the look of this Batmobile.
Oh, that's the stuff.
Telltale Games are all about the decisions that you make and how they impact the overall story in future episodes. It's cold.
It's vichyssoise, sir. It's meant to be cold.
You don't just be a dick about it. And in this game, you play as Bruce Wayne a fair bit.
Well, Hill has a history of making his opposition disappear.
And what excites me so much about this game is that you get to be Bruce, which is so rare, let alone make decisions for him. And you quickly get the impression that your choices matter a lot here. Shaking someone's hand, going on or off the record, it all adds up.
Turn it off. Miss Vale.
Except this time, it's not just people like Vicky Vale or Commissioner Gordon that will remember this, it's Gotham. Gotham will remember this. This Batman is still trying to figure out who he is and what he stands for and how far he will go. And what's so brilliant is that you get to make those choices. These are pivotal moments for Batman as a character, and we get to define them. Do you break someone's arm or just scare them? Do you distance yourself from the police or the media? What kind of Bruce will you be? The charming Michael Keaton? The Batman that fights to save every life, even the criminals? Or maybe the violent, grumpy, fed-up Batman who does not muck about?
I'm Batman.
I never realized how much I wanted this kind of Batman game until I sat down and started to play it. However, I did come across a few bugs on the PC version that marred the experience just a little. Every now and then, some sound effects wouldn't play, or I just get stuck in a menu. Not a big deal, but they are there. Also, the detectiving that Batman does is a little simple and fiddly. I still enjoyed it though. I always enjoy using science.
The cop shredded this merc to pieces, barehanded.
Troy Baker is the voice for Bats, and normally his work is spot on, but I'm still warming to him in this case.
Who put you up to this? Answer me or I let go.
But what really matters is that I think they've nailed the characterizations for Batman and all the other characters. The writing is so good.
Okay, imagine. This is me. And these are all my friends in Gotham. The businesses, restaurants, clubs, docks, unions, politicians. I make them all move.
And there's a great momentum to the flow of the conversations too. At E3 this year, I spoke to Job Staffer, head of creative communications for Telltale, and he talked about the writing process for their games. Where do you even begin? Like, how did you pick what you wanted to do?
So working with DC and Warner, 75 years of comics and looking at all the different actors and writers and directors, film, all the different storytellers that have done their takes on comics as well. We can kind of look to that as influence. We broke in a writer's room. We got, our most passionate writers and designers and Batman fans at Telltale to sit down with DC and Warner, even some outside fans as well, to sort of sit down and say, okay, well, what is the ultimate Batman Telltale story? And everything starts in the writer's room with Telltale, and we don't make a single frame of artwork until we know we're going to be starting with a great story.
There's so many great scenes and little moments in this episode that I will not spoil for you, but by the end you are totally invested. And there is a lot of setup. Batman has a massive public image problem, a mystery to solve,
Can't make sense of it yet.
and some more heads to bust. This is such a promising start to what could be a landmark game for The Dark Knight. I'm giving it 4 stars. Oh, didn't even notice that.
Let tombstones be your family legacy. Well then. Time to save the city.
What was it like making the decisions for Batman, Bajo?
Oh, it felt just right, Hex, just right. Well, Double Fine Studios was founded 16 years ago and headed up by the delightful Tim Schafer. And would you believe, Hex, they started in a clog shop.
Yeah, they certainly have come a long way. Games like Psychonauts, Stacking, Broken Age, they all have that identifiable charm. Well, NichBoy was recently lucky enough to get a peek at how they do things, so let's take a look.
It's March of 2016, and while in San Francisco for the Game Developers Conference, I snuck away to spend the day at Double Fine Studios, makers of Psychonauts, Broken Age, and all manner of weirdness in between.
What is happening?
Studio founder and lead madman Tim Schafer started me off with a tour of his office.
You want to see my office?
I do, but
Yes.
it says do not disturb. Is this...
Yeah. No, come on.
We're fine?
Here's my office. This is where the writing is a little messy. Look, VR.
You got tech
These are my
everywhere.
notebooks.
Yep.
For all the long form writing. This is Eddie.
How often do you go back into the notebooks?
No, only the top one. I really don't look at anything else someday when I'm dead. Look at this. Someone gave me felted a Curtis.
That is terrific.
And this is Zim, who's the voice, Richard Horvitz, who does the voice of Raz.
Is it cool getting dolls made of things? Like, I feel like, you've made the games, you've made the characters and stuff, but
I think it's weird to see like cosplay from one of your characters. Like,
That's probably the most
There's
exciting.
something you make up in your head, and then there's someone standing in front of you dressed up like type of character.
That is very. That's real power, is what that is.
I'm basically creating people pretty much like God.
Yeah. You've got like a little army.
Yeah, except for our people are cooler. That was the first album I ever bought. You can see how old it is. Ozzy signed that.
That is amazing. How old were you when you got that?
I feel like 13. This is the Love Giver from Brutal Legend.
Yes.
It's the promo. They made only like a couple of these.
Can I touch it?
You can touch it.
Can I touch it?
Not there,
not that big?
but okay.
Okay.
Good enough. Some original Grim Fandango art from Peter Chan.
Beautiful. And then, of course, all the Rubik's Cubes.
Okay, I had like a regular Rubik's Cube.
Yeah.
And then I used to always be playing with this. And then someone left this on my desk, like a 4x4.
Yeah.
I was like, oh gosh, I gotta figure out how to solve that. When I figured that one out, they left this on my desk. No,
so people
5.
just leave. Do you know who it is?
It was like a mysterious Rubik's fairy.
That's a tentacle as well.
Yeah, that's a tinfoil hat. We had a thing in Psychonauts about wearing a tinfoil hat.
Yep.
So this is actually made by Rex from Media Molecule. You made Terra,
Right. Yep. It's a good look. Double Fine games seem to be birthed by just sheer force of will when it comes to you. Do you think that that's something that's important in running an indie studio, having that one figure?
Every studio is different, and some of them operate because 5 people started them, like Media Molecule. They're just a group, and I think however they're formed, I think sets their personality for the rest of their life. And ours was formed by by me, and it was like, I'm gonna make this happen, no matter what. I just didn't. Part of it was being dumb enough to not know all the stuff that was going to be a struggle later on, so he just made it happen that way. And I always feel it's like Tom Sawyer painting that fence. He like makes it look like really fun, so other people come up and offer to paint the fence for him. And he's like, well, okay, I'll let you paint the fence.
It's kind of like you've tricked everyone here into working here. You've got okay, yeah, I'll keep my voice down. It's probably top secret game stuff. So are these areas all like segmented off? Like, is this the Psychonauts people, and this is the Day of the Tentacle people?
Actually, whenever a new project is starting, they switch seats a lot of times.
Right.
So
Okay.
No one usually stays in the same place for too long.
I am here with Aaron. How old are you? Like 6?
24, so kind of close, yeah.
And you're the youngest person here?
Yeah.
So what's your job title?
Programmer.
What am I looking at on this screen besides numbers?
Our virtual reality game that we're making called Psychonauts and the Rhombus of Ruin.
Hello, darling. I just wanted to make sure that you're okay. Yeah, I'm fine.
I'm currently looking at a way to implement a new visual effect that'll look really nice, but also not slow down the game too much.
Wow!
It's really interesting because it's all very new. No one really knows how to do all this stuff yet. It's all very experimental.
I feel like this must be a pretty good job for your first one in the industry.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with my first opportunity that I managed to get.
All right, well, don't screw this up, because this is your shot. I'm just going to leave you with that.
So you've got like comics, games, but what's with all the VHS tapes?
Well, Double Fine was started back in 2000 when people still used VHS
That was still a
tapes.
thing that we did?
So a lot of those are old Tim interviews.
Oh, right.
From like G4 or things like that.
Full
Silicon
throttle
Spin.
stuff here.
Yeah, that's right. Our COO is a big pinball aficionado, so he donated one to the office.
Just going into this, I'm definitely going to lose. Like, I'm going to do really badly. Oh, yes. And I'm dead.
Over here, we have our Headlander wall.
Nice.
So we've had more art walls before, but depending on what projects we're working on, we change them out. We like to kind of have all of our concept work up. We have amazing artists here.
I love concept art for things because I love seeing where the designers' heads were before you went through all these iterations and changes and that sort of thing. And also, like you said, it's just amazing art that you actually get the time to look at. I'm here with Emily, animator.
I am a concept artist.
Oh, so you've been doing all the cool stuff that's on the walls?
Yes, I have.
All of it?
Not all of it, but some of it.
I was previously talking to the coders. They're kind of in this dark area there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like cold tech on their desks. And then I come over here and there's like lanterns and flowers that light up. It's a much nicer space to be in.
Yes, it's more decorative,
Conducive,
creative.
Conducive to
people.
the sort of concept environment?
Yeah.
So what are you concepting at the moment?
Right now, I am working on Psychonauts and the Rhombus of Ruin, coming up with ideas of what's going to be in the world and what's going to look like and all that fun stuff.
Do you kind of just get free reign? Is it a combination of, oh, we need X, Y, and Z, or is it just let your mind wander and just draw a lot of things that could exist here?
It's a little of both, especially during the beginning parts. I get to sort of come up with cool ideas. Later on, it's more like we gotta do this sort of thing, so do a little dollhouse. I'm working on a dollhouse right now, so here's a bathroom.
Nice.
And in the dollhouse, this is Lovato.
I'm here with Dave, who is a senior character artist here at Double Fine. So they make the concept drawings, and then it gets handed off to you?
Yeah, that's right, yeah. We get orthographics, what we call orthographics, so they'll draw a character from the front, the side, and we take that into a program like ZBrush and do the sculpture for it, and do the texturing and materials, and also do the skeleton, which is what animators use to make the model move.
What are you working on at the moment?
So this is a character from the original Psychonauts called Dr. Lovato.
Yes, it is.
And we are just taking its geometry and up-resing it, trying to figure out how do you get that painterly look and still have it work in this generation.
Still make it pop.
We don't want people to look at it and go, oh, look, that looks so last gen.
Yeah,
You know?
right. How long have you been at Double Fine?
15 years.
Oh, wow.
One of my first days was its 1-year anniversary. So I've been here for
So you worked on Psychonauts?
Yeah, I built Raz and almost all the other characters.
Thank you very
and
much.
half the other characters.
So then you're actually up-resing your own work?
I was just saying to Emily, though, I did not do this guy.
All right.
All the ones that we've done so far, Ray did.
And so you're actually
it's
you're stamping on someone
my
else's.
take on Ray's
How
old
interesting.
characters.
Yeah. What do you think of Ray's original work? Yeah, I agree. Could use some.
We didn't know what we were doing back then. That's what I think.
So where are we?
We are currently in a room called Cold Room. We often use for art jams. So a lot of our artists, some of the ones that we've been collaborating with forever, like Scott Campbell and Bagel, we fly them in for new projects that we're working on, and Peter Chan. Have them come in.
So Bagel's doing the sort of watercolor stuff here?
Yeah, so we just kind of shove them in a room, give them a bunch of coffee, some beer, and provide them with some art tools, and they just go to town. In these flat files, we also have a lot of old concept work.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Ratman. So this is like a brutal
This is all the
one,
original stuff.
Over here, we have some early Lily drawings before we actually figured out what she was going to look like.
Wow.
Yeah. Bobby.
God, this stuff's so old.
Yeah, so we've been working on archiving them properly. We didn't even have a logo
Didn't even
yet.
have the logo.
Yep.
This is beautiful.
It's beautiful, and it's so supportive. We have some of the most amazing fans.
There's lots of lovely letters like, thank you so much for coming to Argentina, Tim, and all the magic you've been giving us since our childhood.
Yeah.
But then the art itself
It's beautiful.
is spectacular, yeah. I reckon these people are angling for a job.
We do get a lot of those letters.
Yeah, this is very nice. I like you've got the art inspiration around the corner, and then this is like soul inspiration. The audio designer?
I am number 2.
Are you the sound designer with the coolest hair, we would say?
Definitely.
Yeah, definitely. What are you working on currently?
I am working on our Psychonauts VR project.
Are there sound changes going to VR? How's your job changed?
I mean, the process of designing sound isn't too much different, but everything's done mono so far, since everything's done as a source point.
Oh no, you're regressing.
Usually when we do an ambience for a game, it's just a stereo file, and we add a lot of depth to it, a lot of cool sounds panned in certain directions, and they're just kind of trying to make the user feel immersed by just having this background sound kind of blend in. But with VR, everywhere they look and turn, it just feels like more close to reality. So the entire ambience is generated from, okay, there's like a fridge over there, that's got a hum.
Oh no, did the squirrels get in here again?
That's to be expected when you park a plane in the woods, darling.
You don't want to take their attention away from actual gameplay, but I mean, it's nice so they can just take a second and go like, oh, that is making a sound, that's cool. And I can even put like a smaller sound globe that when they lean in, they'll hear like more parts going at that point. Like lots of cool opportunities for sound there.
Meeting room?
Meeting room. I'll give you one guess as to what the name of this meeting room is.
Old lady.
Close.
Close?
Granny.
Oh, so close.
This painting has been in Double Fine Studios since the beginning. It was actually painted by Tim's cousin. Her name is Lolly, and she's been kind of our patron saint of Double Fine, I guess you could say.
She's actually overlooking the meeting table right now.
She is.
Making sure that all the deals go through and that everyone uses the right fork. Show off for me.
Yeah, we've had quite a few nice people give us some awards. So we have things like our VGA wins, some of the BAFTAs.
The BAFTA, I mean, that's a BAFTA.
That's a BAFTA.
That's an actual BAFTA. This is locked, right?
Yes.
Like I can't get at that.
You can.
Can I touch the BAFTA?
You can touch the BAFTA.
Oh my God. Oh. Oh, it's so heavy. Oh my God, it's so heavy.
It was just after lunch, so it's a little messy. So it's not cute. We'll move that.
I like how everywhere we go, she just tries to clean up on the fly before we get there, as though our office isn't way filthier than this one. Can I open it? What's in here? It's mainly salads.
Right? Okay.
It's mainly just salads.
And some flan.
That's good. I feel like if I was a game developer, I would want to eat healthy. Because apparently you keep them all here overnight
You should
to finish
see
games.
how often I have to restock the candy bowl here.
We saw the candy bowl coming in, and we were wondering if it was available for Australian tourists.
Absolutely.
It is?
Yeah.
We might need to go back to the candy place later.
No problem.
And you guys also have a drinking problem.
We do. Yeah.
In that it looks like you have nothing to drink because they're all empty.
Yep. Well, we have 2 clubs here that are just for alcoholic beverages. We have beer and whiskey club.
Right, okay.
So
I know what club I fall in.
Yeah.
What club do you fall in?
both.
I was going to say whiskey club, but that is absolutely the right answer.
This day showed me why I love Double Fine games so much. Not every one of their titles is a perfect game, but you're not going to find another studio who can make an RTS action game about heavy metal music, follow it up with a mediation on Russian babushka dolls, and this year pump out a sexy 60s inspired platformer where your detached head is your greatest weapon. These are the kind of games only Double Fine, in a room filled with whiskey, could dream up.
Thanks, Nick. The creative director of Journey, Matt Nava, has founded a new studio, Giant Squid, and their debut game ABZU takes us down into the ocean to uncover the secrets of the deep.
From the moment you descend into the depths of the sea, the connections to Journey are easy to make. ABZU follows a similar kind of adventure that sees you focusing more on interacting with your surroundings rather than taking on any formal gameplay tasks.
Yes, and the art and design is instantly familiar. You take control of a small figure, in this case a diver, who seeks to explore the ocean and its inhabitants. Each new cavernous chamber you visit is absolutely breathtaking. Scores of different kinds of sea life, coral, creatures scuttling across the ocean floor.
Oh, it's magical, isn't it? I found it strangely hypnotic and almost meditative, just swimming around and exploring. In fact, you can actually meditate in the game, taking you into a sort of out-of-body state as you examine the aquatic scene.
This may seem simple in concept, and it is. A lot of this game really is just about celebrating the magic of the sea.
Yeah, I think with games like this, you have to accept that it's more about those moments of interaction and discovery, and that can be enough. I just loved being able to grab hold and ride along with a larger fish, or turtles, dolphins, even whales. Lords of the Sea, Hex.
Yes, they are. And with each new species you come across, it brings all the delight of an exciting new discovery. But yes, there is something especially moving about swimming alongside a whale. They're just so majestic and peaceful.
Yeah, it's like you're a guest in a private world.
Yeah, like it's a privilege to even be there. But there is more to this world than just sea life. In another callback to Journey, you start to uncover the remnants of an ancient civilization.
Yes, and with it, the presence of something more sinister. And it's that mystery that keeps you delving further into the past.
You know, playing this gave me strong vibes of James Cameron's The Abyss. Remember that movie?
Yeah.
There is already something so alien about the ocean and its strange bioluminescent creatures, but ancient civilizations and lost cities too.
For me, it was more like Fantasia, you know, beautiful but dark and unnerving at times.
Oh yeah, I can totally see that.
There's also some environmental themes that start to come through. There is life all around you, but coming into contact with something lurking that perhaps seeks to suck that life away makes you realize how fragile this precious ecosystem is.
This is another adventure that doesn't take long to complete and is best tackled in one sitting, and it's the perfect length, I think.
Yeah, these smaller, digestible games work so well that way.
Yeah, not to mention these games are more about eliciting an emotional response from you, and I think the impact is much greater when you experience it all at once.
Yeah, absolutely. And Hex, you know, I normally dread underwater games because they just feel laggy and I hate the controls, but this isn't like that at all. They've really nailed it here. It's simple and it works well. Similar to the way you surfed the sand and soared through the air in Journey. In ABZU, you will dive, float, ride, and speed through tunnels of fast-moving water currents. The sense of freedom is undeniable.
Yes, but the emotions you feel are owed in large part to Austin Wintory, who has returned to compose the soundtrack for this game, as he did with Journey. And it's that incredible combination of movement and music that makes these experiences so uniquely evocative.
It's beautiful, isn't it? And even though ABZU and Journey are made by two completely different developers, that same DNA is there, so it's hard not to compare them. However, I think you get something quite different out of each of these games.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, in Journey, the real revelation was that interaction you had with another online player. Here, it's very much a solo experience. It's just you and the ocean. But it's powerful in its own right, and I felt like in some way I was getting a piece of that feeling that I had when I was playing Journey, just in a different way.
Yeah, I don't think it'll have the same profound, lasting impact that Journey had, but I still easily recommend this to everyone. It's an underwater playground, and you will have those moments of awe.
Yeah, I agree. There was this moment that I swam into this tornado-like school of fish, and it was such a rush. I would kill for this in VR, man. What are you giving it?
I think this is definitely a must play. It's just so spectacular. Those huge underwater chambers, Hex, 4.5 stars for me.
Yeah, ABZU is breathtaking, and it's ambiguous enough that you're gonna want to discuss its meaning with friends. I'm giving it 4.5 as well. So, did you name the game for this week? It was CSI: Deadly Intent for PC and console from 2009. Based on the crime scene investigation television series, the game was broken up into 5 different cases, with you gathering evidence and interrogating suspects to deliver justice. And it was our Name the Game because although it was published by Ubisoft, it was actually developed by Telltale Games, the same studio behind this week's Batman: The Telltale Series.
Now Hex, we have some exciting news, don't we?
Yes, we do. In September, Good Game turns 10. And to celebrate, we are recording an extravaganza of a show in the studio with lots of special guests and a live studio audience.
That's right. If you would like to be a part of that live studio audience, you need to make us a birthday card with a special birthday message written by you.
Yeah, and our favourite 100 or so will win you a spot in the audience.
For all the details on how to enter, head to our website here, and there are a bunch of rules, so make sure you read them first. Now, next week on the show, we take the Vive VR headset for a spin and give you our verdict on 3 very cool experiences.
Until next time, may all your games be good ones. Hex out.
Bajo out.
Now, make sure your birthday card entries include heaps of glitter because I hear the production coordinators really love that.
Actually, Hex, I have the rules right here, and one of the rules is any use of glitter in your entry will result in automatic disqualification.
What?
I mean, you could still do it to annoy them, which I recommend, but you won't be in the running.
Those cheeky rascals. I'm just gonna glitter bomb them just because they put that rule in there.
You should.